You ever just look around at the world and wonder, how does any of this work? I mean, really think about it. That feeling, that deep down need to figure things out, that's what makes us human.
I mean, that curiosity, it's literally the engine of human progress. It took us from carving sticks to launching rockets. But here's the thing. There are still these pockets of mystery, right? Things in our world, in our own skies, even out in the universe that just don't make sense. They defy everything we think we know.
So what happens when that incredible drive to understand just slams into a brick wall? That's what we're talking about today. We're going to look at those walls, these phenomena that are so bizarre, so completely baffling that they leave even our top scientists just scratching their heads. So yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, first up, let's start right here at home, on good old planet Earth. Turns out some of the biggest riddles are carved right into the rock and water around us. So check this out. This is a place in Minnesota called the Devil's Kettle. The river, the Brule River, comes up to this point and splits in two. Now, one side does exactly what you'd expect. It goes over a waterfall. Pretty normal. But the other side, it just pours into this giant hole in the rock and poof, it's gone. Half a river just vanishes.
And you better believe people have tried to figure out where it goes. I mean, they've thrown everything you can imagine into this thing. Brightly colored dyes, tons of ping pong balls, GPS trackers, even whole locks. And you know what they found? Nothing. Absolutely nothing ever came out the other side. But here's the real mindbender. A little way down the river, the water flow gets stronger. So the water is coming back, but how? For the longest time, nobody knew. Now, okay, hydrologists think they've probably cracked it. The most likely theory is a huge underwater siphon, like a natural plumbing system that just reconnects with the river underground. It explains the science, sure, but it kind of takes away a little of that magic portal vibe, right?
Okay, from a vanishing river to a laser-cut rock, we're hopping over to Saudi Arabia to look at the Al Nasla rock. And just look at it. This thing is split by a gap that is so perfectly straight, so clean, it's like someone took a giant laser and just sliced it in half. Now, the scientific explanation, geologists say, hey, it's probably just a fluke, some tectonic stress, a fault line, a gazillion years of erosion, and boom. But really, look at that precision. It's so perfect, it's easy to see why some people wonder if it was made with some kind of ancient advanced technology. So what is it? A 1 in a billion act of nature or something else?
All right, let's leave the ground behind for a bit and turn our eyes to the sky, because some of the weirdest stuff happens right up there in our atmosphere. Deep in Venezuela, over a spot called Lake Maracaibo, there's something they call the everlasting storm. And they're not kidding. This isn't just a storm. It's a permanent weather feature. Seriously, it's a place where a thunderstorm is just what happens at night. And the sheer scale of it is just mind-blowing. We are talking about up to 1 million lightning strikes a year. 1 million! It's the most electrically active spot on Earth, period. And this isn't some freak weather event either. It happens on something like 160 nights every single year. Sometimes it goes on for 10 hours straight. It's so unbelievably consistent that for hundreds of years, sailors actually used it as a natural lighthouse to navigate. A lighthouse made of lightning. We can see it, we can count it, we can even use it, but we still don't fully understand the exact recipe that makes this storm happen night after night after night. So, from a storm we can definitely see to lights we can't really explain. Over in a remote valley in Norway, people have been seeing these strange glowing orbs for decades. They just hang there in the sky, sometimes they zip around, and nobody has a clue what they are. Now this isn't just folklore. Scientists have set up cameras and all sorts of gear out there. They've got a couple of solid theories. One is that the valley is rich in certain minerals, and maybe that's creating pockets of ionized gas that glow. Cool. Another idea is something called piezoelectricity, which is a fancy way of saying that when the rocks in the valley grind against each other under stress, they can generate an electric charge. But here's the catch. They're both just theories. No one's proven anything for sure. So for now, the Helstane lights remain one of the best documented but most mysterious light shows on Earth. Okay, we've covered the ground, we've covered the sky. It's time to go big. Let's head out into the cosmos, because trust me, the mysteries out there are on a whole different level. All right, a little background first. One of the main ways we find planets around other stars is pretty simple. In theory, you stare at a star and you wait for its light to dip just a tiny bit. That little dip usually means a planet passed in front of it. That little dip, that measurement, is called a light curve. So keep that in mind. If a huge planet, like Jupiter, crossed in front of our sun, it would block about 1% of the light. Tiny, but detectable. Now, look at this. Astronomers were watching a star they call Tabby's star, and they saw its light dip by 22%. That's not a dip, that's a blackout. It's an absolutely insane amount of light to be blocked. I mean, what could possibly be big enough to do that? The speculation went wild. People were even talking about alien megastructures. The more down-to-earth theory is probably a huge, lumpy cloud of cosmic dust. But honestly, no one knows for sure.
Okay, let's come back into our own solar system for this last one. We're going to Saturn, because at its north pole, there's a storm. A hurricane, basically. But this storm isn't a spiral, it's a hexagon. A perfect six-sided shape. And to give you a sense of scale, each one of those six sides is wider than our entire planet.
Yeah. So, how in the universe does a storm form a hexagon? The best guess has to do with super-fast jet streams that kind of lock into this stable, six-sided pattern. Other ideas talk about weird interactions between different layers of Saturn's atmosphere, or maybe it's the same force that makes hurricanes spin on Earth, the Coriolis effect, just on a much, much bigger and weirder scale. The bottom line is we've been watching this thing for decades and we still can't say for sure what's causing it.
So we've got vanishing rivers, laser-cut rocks, everlasting storms, and giant space hexagons. What do we do with all that? What's the point?
Well, here's what I think. Seeing these things isn't a sign that science is broken or has failed. It's the exact opposite. These mysteries, they are the frontier. They're the whole reason science exists. Every single unanswered question is like a doorway, inviting us to build new tools, think up new ideas, and push the limits of what we thought was possible.
These puzzles are a beautiful reminder that the universe is so much weirder and way more incredible than we give it credit for. And it really just leaves you with one big, exciting question, doesn't it? If this is the stuff we've already found, what else is out there just waiting for us to discover it?